So good morning to all of you. I welcome you to this class of RDBMS. In today's class, we are going to discuss about two topics. We'll start with recovery, the topic of recovery, and then we will discuss about a topic, distributed databases. So let's begin today's lecture. So we started this topic in our previous lecture, the topic of recovery. Okay. So we understand that when a database does not satisfy consistency requirements, it has to be brought into a consistent state, right? So the techniques which do this are called recovery techniques. So obviously recovery needs to be done whenever there is a failure. And as we discussed in our previous class, that there could be different kinds of failures. There could be a failure of a statement, failure of a program, failure of the system. Okay, and if you have not written a statement as per the syntax, then a statement might fail and your entire transaction might fail. Okay, which could put your database in an inconsistent state. So we require recovery techniques to bring it to the last consistent, that is good state. Similarly, if you write a program in which you are using a loop, okay, and the program goes into an infinite loop, then that is termed as a failure of the program. So nothing much can be done about this because that would be careless programming. And similarly, there could be the failure of the system in which your the device that the system that you're using or the equipment that you're using or the power supply you're using goes out of order. So we must take care of these, we must try to control these failures. So how can we control? We can write our statements as per the syntax by checking them before actually we are executing our transaction. Similarly, we should take care of this infinite loops if we are using loops, because once we get into an infinite loop, then our program is not guaranteed to run to completion. Similarly, we should use good power supply, good backup should be there, okay, and so that the system does not fail. But let's suppose that the failure has occurred and then recovery needs to be performed, okay. Then we have the recovery techniques. Okay. So while doing recovery, we have three broad steps. That is, we must first collect the recovery data. Then we determine what type of recovery is needed, and then we perform the recovery. Now, there are two strategies for performing recovery. Mm, Either we can do the backward recovery or we can do the forward recovery. Okay. So aim of both of these is to take the database into the consistent and uncorrupted state. Okay, the idea behind recovery techniques is that we have a database which is in a consistent state, which is in uncorrupted state. Okay, now a good recovery system. Let's see the properties of a good recovery system before we actually discuss the recovery techniques. A good recovery system, you know, the amount of data that is lost should be minimized in that. Okay, if we have a good recovery system, it should be able to recover maximum amount of data. Okay, so minimum loss should be there. And number two, recovery should not take too much time. It should not be a very time consuming process, and it should be done program wise. And recovery data collected should be safe and should not get lost or corrupted. As far as possible, recovery should be automatic. Okay, so that the human intervention is not required most of the times. Okay. Then the first step is collecting the recovery information. Okay, like from where we can get the recovery information. So we have these ways of collecting recovery information. We have something known as database dump. So a database dump is, a copy of the database taken in a point of time. Okay. It is also known as database backup or as image copies. The technical term here is database dumps. Okay. So we take periodic dumps of database. Like if I'm working today, okay, 19th May. At the end of today's day, I'll be taking a backup of my database. Similarly, I took a backup yesterday also. So day wise, I can keep the backup. And to the point I want to go, I want to bring my database to what point would determine what recovery I'm going to do. So we need to take consistent and a periodical collection of these files, the dumps, and they should be kept because in case failure is there, they come handy, right? Next is something known as a save point that we saw in SQL also. Save point is again, some point we can name. Until that point, we can save our, we can mark our transaction that at this point we can put a mark, say at point A, then at point B. That is at the different stages of the transaction, and then we can roll back if we just want to undo the work that has given us some problem. Then we can roll back to a specific save point. Okay, so let's discuss these in detail. Okay, database dump is essentially a copy of the database taken at some point of time. Okay, and since this requires that the entire database be copied, the operation can be quite time consuming. Okay, and during the time when you are taking the dump, the nobody is allowed to interact with the database. Okay, because otherwise you will get an inconsistent copy. Say for example, if you are taking a backup and some person is updating that thing, so you may get inconsistent backup. So while you are backing up your data, no operation is allowed with the database. Okay, so no user, users have to wait. Okay, so you see when you see these messages also when you are working with your banking sites, you do get a messages like this is a some maintenance operation is being carried out. So the banking operations would be off for say 3 hours, 4 hours, something like this. So that is the time they are doing all the maintenance work. Maybe they are taking backup, maybe they are making some changes. Okay. So it is necessary that the frequently taking the dump should be carefully controlled. So dump should not be depending upon the urgency, the criticality of the database. You should time your dumps, that when should you take dumps, because dump is a time consuming process, and as we have discussed, during the time the dump is taken, the database is not allowed to interact with the users. It would be not interacting with the users will have to wait, and once the dump has been taken, then again they can work with their transactions and their queries. Okay. The second is save point. So save points are the points in the program at which the status of a program is saved. So like if we have done some work, uh, say some 10 transactions we have worked with, then we can mark that point as A. We think that until this point everything is good. Okay, and then after some time we have done some more work, then we can mark another point, say save point B. Now, if there is some problem between save point A and save point B, some transaction is giving us problem. If we simply write rollback, then everything is rolled back, including the good status of save point A also. So what we can do here is we can simply write rollback to save point A. Rollback to save point A. That means till from B to A, all the transactions would be rolled back. Okay. I hope this is clear. Save point. After some time today, in today's lecture, I'll show it to you on your SQL command line also, the save point concept. So if everything is clear, like whatever we have started the discussion of recovery, if you are getting it, okay, you can give me a raised hand, all of you, so that I understand that you are with me. And of course, if there is any question, you can ask. If there is any question, you people can ask. I'm unmuting all of you. So at this point, if you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself and ask, please. Anything that you need to discuss. Okay, fine. So next is journals. Okay. So journals are is another popular way of collecting recovery data. Okay. So what does a journal contain? Okay. A journal contains the old value of the data. Okay. The new value of the data, and both the old as well as the new value. Okay, so what does a journal contain? While you're doing some transaction and you are updating some data item, then the journal will contain entries like the old value of the data would be there, the value with which you are updating the new value would be there, and obviously it contains both the old as well as the new value, so that in case our transaction fails, then we can pick up the old value, and if it is successful, we can pick up the new value. Okay. And then in addition to that, the journal should have information about the transaction that caused the update and other housekeeping data. Okay. Some example is given. Let's discuss this example. Let's consider there's an employee Ram earning a salary of rupees 4,000, and let us update or modify his salary to rupees 4,500. Okay. So what happens in case of a journal? See, this is the journal. Okay. In the initially the journal is blank, and the database contains the value of Ram, the salary as 4,000. Okay. After that, once the transaction takes place, the journal now contains both the old value of the salary and the new value. Okay. And once, like, if your transaction is successful, then it will database would be updated with the value as 4,500. If it is unsuccessful, then it would be having the similar value as it was having previously, that is 4,000. Okay. This is the journal. I'll discuss it in detail in the next 15-20 minutes. You're going to understand what is recovery and what are the various types of recoveries. But before that, I'm just telling you how we can collect the recovery information. Okay. Then another thing that we have is known as the differential files. Okay. So differential files are the files in which changes are made to the database are recorded. Okay. Now, what happens in journals, you see, uh, in journals and the differential file, the difference is that while you are using a differential file, then no changes made to the database. See here what happens. Uh, as soon as this update operation takes place, in case of a journal, as soon as the update operation takes place, uh, the database is updated. Okay, it does not wait for the commit. The values are recorded in the database. If in case there is some problem, then a rollback takes place and the value 4,000 is again stored in this database. Okay, fine. And then in differential files, okay, in differential files, it is assumed that we don't change the database. Okay, so whatever changes are there, they are trapped in the differential file. And once the transaction is successful, the commit is there, only then the database is updated. Now, this brings us to discussion of two things. We are dealing basically with two types of recoveries. That is an immediate operation and a deferred operation. Okay, the words are immediate and deferred. That means immediate means that as soon as you do some update operation, it is immediately updated in the database. And deferred is that it waits until you commit, only then it updates. That is the thing that we discuss here. Okay. So let's see now that we have a system log, the technical term now, like the one that we would be using in actual transactions. There is something known as a system log. Log, as you know, is something which records all the interactions with your database since the time you log in to the time you log out. Okay, all the information about a user is recorded. Okay, that is one type of log. If we talk of transactions, we say we have something known as a system log. Okay, so which is similar to a DBMS journal. Okay, now what does this system log contains? Okay, it contains some records. This is important now for you to understand the remaining topic. System log contains some records. Okay. Now this system log is maintained in the memory buffers. Okay. The system log is maintained in the memory buffers. You store it in the memory buffers. Okay. Now for every transaction, the system log makes a records of these types. A start of the transaction marker denoted by start underscore transaction comma T. So when a transaction starts, the first record that is there in the system log is this indicator that the transaction has started, start underscore transaction comma T, that is the name of the transaction. Okay. Now update log record in the system log would describe a write operation. Okay, indicated by write comma T comma A comma old value comma new value. Okay, so what does it mean? This system, this update log record, it will tell you that you are performed a update or a write operation on the transaction T on the data item A, and you have the old as well as the new value. Okay, something like that you saw here, like here. Okay, you have both the new and the old values. Similarly, system log, when the transaction starts, it will put up this record known as the start of the transaction marker. Okay, contains this start underscore transaction and the transaction name. The write or the update log record contains these values in the record. The write operation is indicated here. The transaction T is indicated. The data item which is affected is written. The old value of the data item and the new value of the data item. Okay. So here the transaction T has performed a write operation on data item A, such as changing value of data item A from old value to new value. Now, when the transaction is completed successfully and changes are recorded permanently to the database, then it is considered committed and is represented by commit comma T. So if we have a commit comma T record in our system log, it means that the transaction has successfully, has worked successfully. And when the transaction is not completed successfully, then instead of a commit T record, we'll have a abort T record. So abort T record would mean that whatever changes have been made would be rolled back in case the changes have been affected to the database. Okay. So when all the operations of a transaction have been executed successfully and effect of all transaction operations on database have been recorded in the log, the transaction is said to reach the commit point, which means it is partially committed. I hope all of you remember the states of the transaction that we discussed. I hope you remember that we have when the first operation takes place, it is active. Then when all the operations have taken place, it is partially committed. From there also, it can be aborted if there is some problem. But from partially committed, if the transaction goes to the committed state, then it will be holding its values permanently. And even if your system fails, then nothing would happen to your database. Okay. So same thing is here. Uh, the system log would be recording the update operations. It won't be storing the read operations because they don't give us any problem. So update operations, we keep information like the transaction name, the data item which is being affected, the old and the new value. And if there is a commit T record in your system log, it would mean that your transaction has committed and has been executed successfully. But if you have a abort T record, then that means there is some problem with the transaction and whatever operations have taken place must be rolled back depending upon what sort of execution of transactions we are considering. Okay, so you understand, if a system crash occurs and we search the log, so if there is some problem with our system, we'll search for the log. Okay, and if there is a commit record, then the transaction is committed, otherwise uh, we need to do something to roll back the things. Okay, so let's see now how it actually takes place. Okay, how this concept actually works. Now recovery is of two types. Okay, we have log based recovery. Okay, and log based recovery is further of two types, that is deferred update and immediate update. Okay, deferred update and immediate update. So recovery, what it does, when there is transaction failure, we need to restore the database to the most recent consistent state prior to the failure. To do this, system uses log files to keep track of all the changes that were applied to data items by various transactions. ठीक है, हम लोग क्या डिस्कस कर रहे हैं कि जब हमें रिकवरी करनी है, जब कोई ट्रांजैक्शन फेलियर हो जाता है एंड वी नीड टू परफॉर्म अ रिकवरी, वी टेक द हेल्प ऑफ the log files. I just discussed with you the system log, which I say is a file in the buffer, memory buffers. Okay, and this file contains the various records. Okay, so if we are doing this type of recovery using the system logs, then it is known as the log based recovery. Okay, if you have understood this thing, kindly raise your hands. If you've understood what is log based recovery, you can raise your hands, all of you. I hope all of you are listening to me. Okay, fine. So log-based recovery is when we use the system log to restore our database to the best consistent state which existed before the failure occurred. Okay, right. So log-based recovery has the following techniques it uses. There is something known as an immediate update technique, and there is something known as a deferred update technique. Okay, so you understand this just from the name, before we actually begin our discussion, you understand that this immediate update would mean that whenever your transaction is taking place, whatever changes are taking place, they are immediately recorded into the database without waiting from any signal from the user. Whereas in case of deferred update, we have something, we defer the updates till the time there is a commit signal from the transaction. Okay, so can one of you tell me, like, how we can see this thing in our SQL? Can we see this thing in our SQL? This immediate update and deferred update, or have you people seen this, work with this? If yes, kindly raise your hands. I'm waiting for your response. I think most of you know the answer to this. I'm asking you, can we see this immediate update and deferred update techniques in our SQL while we are working with our database? Obviously, when we are doing some update, then can we say that immediate update has taken place or deferred update has taken place? Raise your hands to answer this question. You should be able to answer this. Okay, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. Once I show it, you'll understand. Okay. Look on your screens now. I'm going to start this SQL session. So I'll log into the Scott user. Okay. And I will update something. Okay. I'll update something here so that we can understand what is the difference between immediate update and deferred update. Okay. I'm going to list the contents of the emp table. You can see the emp table here. Let me update the salary of employee 7369. So you can see the salary of employee 7369 is 1500. I'm going to update it. Okay. I'm updating it to 2500. Okay. So it says one row updated. Now, can somebody answer if I just display the contents of the M table, what it will show to me? The salary updated to 2500, yes or no? Raise your hands to answer this question, please. Nobody is going to answer. You can see the salary has been updated to 2500. Okay, Prince wants to say something. Yes, Prince. Prince, you can raise hands once again. Yes, Prince.
Sir, I was just saying that the value got updated in the M table temporarily until we commit.
नहीं, अगर टेम्पररी नहीं होता, अगर टेम्पररी होता तो okay, but it is showing 2500.
Yes, sir, until we commit.
अब मैं commit नहीं कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? I'm just closing this window. Look carefully and stay with me. I'm closing this window, okay? Again, I'm starting another window. Again, I'll log in. Oh, we were in Spot, right? So I'll just go with Spot Tiger, okay? And I'll write here select star from M. Okay, we didn't set the, yeah. Just look for 7369. See the value? It is
1500.
So that means the commit has not taken place. Okay,
Yes, sir.
is that fine? Because we did not commit. So what is this type of thing known as? This is deferred. We didn't commit, so changes didn't take place. This is deferred. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Let us now look at the immediate one. Okay, I'm writing something. Let's suppose it works. Okay, I'm writing set auto commit on. Okay, I'm by default the mode would have been auto commit off. I'm setting it to on. Okay, now if I set it to on and I do the same thing here. Okay, update m set sal equal to 2500, where emp number is equal to 7369. Okay, and see that, have you seen? As
Yes,
soon as I put the update, it says commit complete because the auto commit is on.
on.
This is known as the immediate update. So all of you, do you see the difference between the deferred update and immediate update that we
Yes,
can see in SQL that we were discussing here? The immediate update we just saw, like if the mode is that if we are going with the immediate update technique, then uh, whatever updates we do, they will be immediately updated. But suppose, let us suppose that we are using a transaction which contains 10 operations and there are many updates in it. And out of those 10, 8 operations successfully work and 2 are, giving us problem. Then what we should do, friends? Shall we allow the 8 operations and don't take care of 2 operations? क्या करेंगे बताइए?
so again, repeat. Can you repeat question?
या मेरे पास एक ट्रांजैक्शन है जिसमें 10 ऑपरेशन है, उसमें से 8 ऑपरेशंस जो हैं वो चल गए हैं, उनके
Yes, sir.
अंदर अपडेट ऑपरेशंस भी हैं, उन्हें डेटाबेस को अपडेट भी कर दिया है, लेकिन नाइन्थ ऑपरेशन पे जाकर ट्रांजैक्शन फेल हो जाती है, उसके अंदर कोई प्रॉब्लम आती है, वो नहीं चल पाती नाइन्थ ऑपरेशन, तो क्या होगा? और हम चल रहे हैं इमीडिएट अपडेट से. I think you should answer this question. Anyone else who wants to answer this question? Because ये तो हमारे transactions के basic हैं. If you are not able to answer this question, then we need to revisit this transaction management. आपको समझ नहीं आया इसका मतलब? Yes, Abhijit wants to answer. Okay. Yes, Abhijit,
सर
बोलिए.
बाय इन अगर इमीडिएट की बात करते हैं वो शैडो पेजिंग के मतलब बुक में काम करता है.
Hmm, you answer the question first. जो मैंने पूछा है उसका आंसर दीजिए.
सर तो आर्ट तो मतलब निशा में होती है. Yes, sir.
Yes, Sejal, please answer. Shelly, unmute yourself. सेजल आंसर कीजिए बेटा. अगर आप लोग ये आंसर नहीं देते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम है, फिर हमें सब्जेक्ट को याद ही करना पड़ेगा. मैंने आपसे पूछा है कि मेरे पास एक ट्रांजैक्शन है. ओके, लेट्स पिक अप एन आंसर फ्रॉम भारत. यस भारत.
Sir, it will be problematic transaction, means non-serial.
ओके, देन व्हाट विल हैपन?
Wrong.
प्रॉब्लमेटिक तो है ही है, नाइन्थ ऑपरेशन जो है फेल हो गया. मैं पूछ रहा हूँ होगा क्या उससे. देखिए, वी हैव लर्नड दैट आइदर अ ट्रांजैक्शन executes to completion or it does not execute at all. That is the atomicity property of the transaction. So, एक ट्रांजेक्शन में अगर 10 ऑपरेशन है, अगर 10 के 10 ऑपरेशन चलेंगे तो ही ट्रांजेक्शन चलेगी, नहीं तो जितने ऑपरेशन चले हैं वो सारे रोल बैक हो जाएंगे. आई होप यू रिमेंबर, ऑल ऑफ यू, वी डिस्कस दिस थिंग, राइट? दैट इज नोन एज द एटोमिसिटी प्रॉपर्टी. ओके, सो अब देखिए, इसको डिस्कस करते हैं इमीडिएट और डेफर्ड को. ये ध्यान से समझना है आपने, ठीक है? ऑल ऑफ यू पे अटेंशन टू दिस. हम डेफर्ड अपडेट की बात कर रहे हैं. आपने देख लिया डेफर्ड अपडेट, अभी देखा ना आपने? कैसे देखा आपने डेफर्ड अपडेट के? अगर हमारा ऑटो कमिट ऑफ है, ठीक है, हम कुछ अपडेट करते हैं, तो अगर हम कमिट नहीं करेंगे तो वो डेटाबेस में स्टोर नहीं होगा. लेकिन अगर हम ऑटो कमिट ऑन कर देते हैं तो हम कोई भी अपडेट ऑपरेशन चलाएंगे, वो कमिट की वेट नहीं करेगा, उसको इमीडिएटली अपडेट कर देगा डेटाबेस. ठीक है फ्रेंड्स, यू अगेन रेज योर हैंड्स. यस
Sir, the punch move between these two updates is like whether the auto commit is on or off, basically.
that is when we talk of working it on SQL, just to compare it with our this thing. ओके अब ये इमीडिएट और डेफर्ड चलता कैसे ऐसे होता है कि वो हम डिस्कस करेंगे, लेकिन हाँ वी कैन सी दैट इमीडिएट अपडेट वुड मीन that an update is immediately recorded in the database, and
Yes.
deferred update would mean that an update is recorded in the database only when the commit takes place. Is that fine?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you now what happens. We are going to discuss the deferred update. ठीक है, deferred update का मतलब क्या है? देखिए, the main idea behind deferred update techniques is to defer or postpone. Defer करने का मतलब होता है अभी wait करना, postpone करना। कोई भी हमारा जो अपडेट है उसको डेटाबेस में तब तक नहीं डालना, उसको पोस्टपोन रखना है उसका अपडेट डेटाबेस में जब तक कि ट्रांजैक्शन सक्सेसफुली चल नहीं जाती और कमिट पॉइंट पे नहीं पहुंच जाती। ठीक है, सो जो चेंजेस होते हैं वो सारे किस में रिकॉर्ड होते हैं? सिस्टम लॉग में, लेकिन डेटाबेस में रिकॉर्ड नहीं होते। आई रिपीट, जब आप डेफर्ड अपडेट टेक्निक यूज कर रहे हैं तो हमारी जो अपडेट्स हैं वो पोस्टपोन मोड में रहते हैं, वो डेटाबेस में इफेक्ट उनका नहीं आता है। ठीक है, आपने देखा ना, एक चीज देखी थी कि नहीं आपने? आप एक बार फिर देखिए, सो दैट दिस इज क्लियर टू यू। ये देखिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, मैं इसको ऐसे कर देता हूँ ऑटो, इसको ध्यान से देखिए सो दैट टेक्निक्स तो दोनों सिंपल ही है। इसको मैं ऐसे कर देता हूँ, ठीक है, ऑटो कमिट इज ऑफ नाउ। अब ध्यान से देखिए, और मैं लिखता हूँ सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम एम। ठीक है, अब देखिए जो एम्प्लॉय नंबर 1900 है सबसे ऊपर, उसकी सैलरी 3000 है। अब लोग देख पा रहे हैं? मैं उसकी सैलरी चेंज कर रहा हूँ। ठीक है, 1900 जो एम्प्लॉय है उसकी सैलरी मैं कर रहा हूँ, ये ध्यान देना आप लोगों ने, उसकी सैलरी 2500 कर रहा हूँ। अभी कितनी है? 3000, उसकी 2500 कर रहा हूँ। ठीक है, वन रो अपडेटेड मैसेज आ गया। ओके, अब अगर अभी मैं सिलेक्ट करूंगा तो मुझे क्या वैल्यू नजर आएगी बताइए? इसके लिए यू शुड रेज योर हैंड्स। अगर मैं अभी सिलेक्ट करता हूँ तो हाँ जी, अभिजीत प्रिंस, वेरी गुड वेरी गुड। चलिए अभिजीत बताइए आप क्या वैल्यू नजर
2500
आएगी?
शो करेगी, 2500 शो करेगी सैलरी 90।
ठीक है, बिल्कुल ठीक है, मैं ये डिस्प्ले कर रहा हूँ, 2500 शो कर रही है। ये डेटाबेस में चली गई है, यस और नो?
डेटाबेस में स्टोर तो नहीं हुई है सर।
नहीं हुई है, इसका मतलब ये कहाँ से वैल्यू दिखा रहा है आपको? सिस्टम लॉग में से दिखा रहा है, मेमोरी बफर में से दिखा रहा है। ठीक है, ये वैल्यू को कहाँ से दिखा रहा है? मेमोरी बफर में से। ओके, और अगर मैं आपको एक चीज और अभी अगर आप डिटेल में बोले तो मैं आपको बता दूं। ठीक है, देखिए जरा आपको अच्छी चीज दिखाता हूँ। एक कोई एक यूजर पर हमें क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा। हमने कोई यूजर क्रिएट किया था पहले सेशंस में। मैं आपको एक आइडिया दे देता हूँ कि अगर मैं अभी लॉग इन करूँ किसी और यूजर से, ठीक है, मैं लॉग इन कर ही लेता हूँ, लेट्स ट्राई दिस। अभी देख लीजिए हमने कमिट नहीं किया है। ठीक है, यहाँ पर हम वैल्यू देख रहे हैं 1900 एम्प्लॉय की सैलरी की वैल्यू कितनी दिखा रहा है स्क्रीन पर? 2500। ओके, अब मैं कनेक्ट कर रहा हूँ एज सिस्टम एंड आई सपोज दिस इज द पासवर्ड, यस। और अब मैं यहाँ लिख देता हूँ सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम स्पॉट डॉट एम। क्या वैल्यू आनी चाहिए अभिजीत? अब जो सिस्टम यूजर है वो इसकी वैल्यू देख रहा है, यही वैल्यू आएगी? मेमोरी बफर से पिक करेगा कि वो पुरानी वैल्यू 3000 पिक करेगा? ओके, प्रिंस वांट्स टू
सर
आंसर।
मेमोरी बफर।
यस प्रिंस।
सर डेटाबेस वाला रिकॉर्ड आई गेस शो करेगा।
डेटाबेस वाला रिकॉर्ड आएगा। ओके, देखते हैं, चेक कीजिए। ये अभी क्योंकि हम एक ही सिस्टम पर हैं तो वो यहीं से वैल्यू पिक कर रहा है।
ओके सर।
ठीक है, बट अदरवाइज अगर कोई डिफरेंट यूजर जो है वो इस वैल्यू को देख रहा है तो वो ओल्ड वैल्यू ही दिखेगी उसको, क्योंकि कमिट नहीं हुआ है। ठीक है, लेकिन ये जो वैल्यू हमें यहाँ पर नजर आ रही है 2500, दिस इज कमिंग फ्रॉम द सिस्टम लॉग फ्रॉम द बफर। मैं क्यों बोल रहा हूँ ऐसा? मैं इसको बंद कर देता हूँ। ठीक है, मैं इसको बंद कर देता हूँ सेशन को। अब फिर से शुरू करता हूँ, ध्यान दीजिए। अब कनेक्ट, अब क्या वैल्यू आएगी बता दीजिए।
3000।
Okay, let's hope that it is 3000 so that we have understood the things clearly. No, it is updating. It is updating. Okay. So there's some problem with this. Otherwise, जब तक आप commit नहीं करेंगे तब तक इसने change नहीं करना चाहिए. Okay. So I don't know why it is showing like this. Maybe we can create another user and see, because this is important for us to understand कि जो हम जो पढ़ रहे हैं यहाँ पर कि deferred update में आप तब तक अपडेट नहीं करते जब तक कि आप कमिट नहीं करते हैं, ठीक है? So I'll work on it. I'll because actual environment would be a multi-user environment. On one screen, it is again picking up the system memory buffers which have not been cleared. Okay, but actually, if you are using in a multi-user and one user is updating something without committing, the changes are not recorded in the database. Okay, that we have seen, that we understand. Okay, and अब इसमें क्या होगा कि अगर आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन जो है, अब देखिए अगर आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन फेल हो जाती है तो आपको अपने डेटाबेस में कुछ चेंज करना है? इसका आंसर दीजिए प्लीज। आप लोग डेफर्ड अपडेट मोड में हैं, ओके? आपने सारे अपने जो अपडेट्स हैं उनको डेफर करके रखा हुआ है जब तक कि आप कमिट नहीं करते हो, ठीक है? अभी आपने कमिट नहीं किया और आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन फेल हो गई है, तो कैसे इसको हम देखेंगे? यस फ्रेंड्स,
सर अगर अगर हमने कमिट नहीं करा है तो हमें कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं, वो ऑटोमेटिक सारे
वेरी
ट्रांजेक्शंस कैंसिल हो
वेरी
जाएंगे।
Very good. So if a transaction fails before reaching its midpoint, there is no need to undo any operation because हमने कुछ किया नहीं डेटाबेस में, ठीक है? और डेटाबेस में तो कुछ नहीं करना, ठीक है? There is no need to undo anything. लेकिन जो हमारे चेंजेस मेमोरी बफर में हैं उसको रीडू करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? So it may be necessary to redo the effect of operations of the committed transactions from the log because their effects may not yet have been recorded in the database. तो हमें लॉग को हमें क्लियर करना पड़ेगा, उसको रीडू करना पड़ेगा। इसीलिए इस तरह के एल्गोरिथम को नो अंडू रीडू रिकवरी एल्गोरिथम बोलते हैं, ठीक है? बिकॉज हमें डेटाबेस में कुछ अंडू नहीं करना, लेकिन सिस्टम लॉग में कुछ हमें रीडू करना है चीजों को जो कि वैल्यूज चेंज हुई हैं। So that is the only thing that you need to know about deferred update. Now let us talk of immediate update. Immediate update का मतलब है कि जब एक ट्रांजैक्शन अपडेट होती है, अपडेट कमांड होता है, तो उसके जो चेंजेस हैं वो डेटाबेस में ऑटोमेटिकली रिकॉर्ड हो जाते हैं विदाउट वेटिंग फॉर द ट्रांजैक्शन टू रीच इट्स कमिट पॉइंट, ठीक है? तो इसमें ऑब्वियसली अगर आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन फेल होती है तो आपको अपने जो आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन है उसके जो चेंजेस आपके डेटाबेस में हो गए हैं उसको आपको अंडू करना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? इसीलिए इस तरह के जो हमारा एल्गोरिथम है इसको बोलते हैं अंडू नो रीडू एल्गोरिथम, ठीक है? दैट इज द ओनली थिंग दैट वी लर्न हियर. Next, another technique for log based, another technique that we can use is the shadow paging technique. Okay, so what is shadow paging? Let us now discuss quickly because you can read it also. It's not that important, the theoretical concept, because I want to focus on the next important topic, that is distributed databases. Uh, yes, friends.
Sir, can you just say a bit about a redo algorithm?
No. Redo means there are two types of operations. Something is undo and something is redo. So like you see here in deferred, your database is not affected. So you don't need to do any undo operation from your database. So it is known as no undo. But your buffer must be cleared because the transaction is, not taken place. So you must redo your this log. You must clear it so that again it is blank. All these, transaction records which were there, they should be cleared. So this is known as no undo redo recovery algorithm. And in immediate, it is the reverse. It is undo no redo algorithm. Okay. You see, Prince, you can raise your hands once again. Is it
Yes,
clear,
sir.
Prince?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Oh, fine. Yeah. Please ask.
so clearing the buffer memory is basically the redo algorithm.
There is some more technicality. Let's not go into that. You see, there is, if you read it here, just a second, so that make it clear. Yeah. Because only this algorithm is known as no undo redo operation because only redo operation needs to be performed and no undo operation is required. Okay. So if we look here, it says it may be necessary to redo the effect of operations of the committed transaction from the log. Okay. Like if your transaction does not commit, okay, and it fails, then you don't have to undo anything. Is that clear? First point. If your transaction does not commit and it fails, then we don't need to undo anything because database is not altered. Okay, but it may be necessary to redo the effect of operations of the committed transaction. So once the transaction has been committed, then we must redo that, we must change our system log, okay, because their effect may not yet have been recorded in the database in case of a system crash, okay. And here in this case, immediate update, it is the reverse. It is known as undo no redo algorithm. Next is the shadow paging concept, okay. So an alternative way to log-based recovery is to use uh, the memory pages. Okay, shadow paging uses memory pages. So in this scheme, the database is considered to be made up of logical units of storage called pages. Okay, so the pages are mapped into physical blocks of storage by means of a page table, with one entry for each logical page of the database. Okay, so we have a page table. Okay, so two types of page tables are there. The shadow page table, okay, which contains the original entries of the database, and the current page table, which contains the entries which have been modified. Okay, so you read here, the current page entries may change during the life of the transaction, but shadow page table is never changed during the duration of the transaction. The changes are made to the current page when a transaction performs a write operation. Okay, so जब भी कोई write operation होता है, okay, so you consider this is your current page table, okay, this is your shadow page table, it is never updated. So see, the shadow page of this diagram is a bit disoriented. I'll send you a new diagram, but once you update something, the current page table, the marker changes, okay, and the shadow page table keeps on pointing to the original record, okay. So you just need to do it correctly. I'll send you a correct picture. Maybe I can just a second. Yeah, maybe I can send you a correct diagram after the class. Okay. So the current page table is where your write operations. Whenever a write operation takes place, the current page table changes. The shadow page table is never updated. It never gets changed. Okay. All right. And the shadow page table contains the entries that exist in the page table before the start of the transaction and points to the blocks that were never changed by the transaction. Okay, इसका क्या मतलब है कि जो आपके, अब आप इसको मिलाइए कि ये आपका जो शैडो पेज है ये ओरिजिनल वैल्यूज है इसमें जो अपडेट से पहले हैं, ओके, और जो करंट पेज टेबल है इसमें अपडेटेड वैल्यूज हैं. So in case of a failure, which page table would you use? Yeah, please respond to this question. If there is a failure in your transaction, which out of the two page tables would you use? The shadow page table or the current page table if there is a failure? Okay. Yes.
Sir, if the transaction fails, a shadow page table would be used.
Yes. Yes. Because it is containing the original values, right? So we'll be using the shadow page table. Now we have considered the commit operation. Now see it carefully. Uh, Commit operation ensure that all modifications made by the transactions which are still in buffers are propagated to the physical database. Output the current page table to the disk. So अगर आप commit करते हैं तो आपकी updated values किस में है? Current page table में. So whatever values are associated with the transaction are in the current page table, they should be forwarded to the database. Okay, so output the current page table to the disk. Okay, and output the disk address of the current page table to the fixed location in the stable storage. So once there is a commit operation, you use the shadow page table to update the database with the latest values. In case of a failure, okay, in case your system crashed during the transaction execution before it commits, it is sufficient to free the modified database pages and to discard the current page table. अगर आपकी ट्रांजैक्शन फेल हो गई है तो आपको इस करंट पेज टेबल से कोई लेना देना नहीं है क्योंकि आपने जो वैल्यूज अपडेट हुई हैं उनको डेटाबेस में शिफ्ट नहीं करना है. सो इन केस ऑफ अ फेलियर यू सिंपली just free the modified database pages and discard the current page table. Okay, and जो हमारी डेटाबेस की स्टेट ट्रांजैक्शन चलने से पहले थी वो किस में है? वो शैडो पेज टेबल में है. ठीक है, अगर आप कुछ इमीडिएट या डेफर्ड जो भी कर रहे हैं उसके अकॉर्डिंग, अगर आप डेफर्ड कर रहे हैं तो अभी कुछ नहीं हुआ है, अगर इमीडिएट है तो आप शैडो पेज से उसको वापस रिट्रीव कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, So you can study this. Actually, theoretical उस पे कुछ वो नहीं है. But yes, we must understand what is deferred and immediate update. Okay. So this is all regarding recovery. Okay. Let's now study an important topic, that is distributed databases. Okay. It's a long topic. Let's see how much you people can discuss with me. So what I'll be discussing in it, I'm just listing on screen. Okay. So this is what we discuss in this topic. Okay. Distributed databases. Obviously, the first question is, what is a distributed database? So I'm just unmuting all of you now because I need a discussion here. All of you are unmuted. So if you need to answer, you can speak. Okay. You can just unmute and speak if you need to answer anything or if you need to discuss anything, right? चलिए, बताइए, what is a distributed database? What does the name suggest? अगर मैं बोलता रहूंगा तो आपको समझ में नहीं आएगी. That's very clear. Yes.
डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटाबेस की बात करें तो आई थिंक कलेक्शन ऑफ मल्टीपल इंटरकनेक्टेड डेटाबेस which is designed for a single user, मतलब single database to every user.
You say that it is
Collection of multiple interconnected.
Interconnected. Okay. Okay. Any other answer? Any other answer? What do you mean by the distributed? What is the meaning of the term distributed? Yeah, I'm waiting for your response.
Divide between different.
Divide. That is a better one. So जब हम अपने जो हमारा डेटाबेस है उसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर देते हैं across different workstations or across different sites. Okay, when we distribute our database, ठीक है, तो उसको हम जब स्प्रेड कर देते हैं across spread across physically spread across computers, okay, in multiple locations, obviously which are connected by data communication links. ठीक है. So हमारे पास जैसे कंपनी है, let's take a scenario here, a practical example. Okay, let's consider an organization which is having offices geographically dispersed throughout the world. Okay, like one office is in Delhi, one is in Hong Kong, one is in Washington. Okay, so what each branch is doing, it is maintaining computer systems and it is maintaining a database. So since the company operations are linked, so we must have a single database. Okay, so what we do is we spread the database across all these geographical locations. Okay, and now they are connected through a network and they can communicate with each other through various communication media such as telephone lines, etc. Okay, so now if we do this distribution, obviously it is going to help organization to use its resources to maximum benefit. That is, the efficiency and the effectiveness of the operations, it increases. If your data is stored in different locations, it is available easily. Okay, that is the first definition of a distributed database. So if we talk of a definition, a proper one, a distributed database is a single logical database that is spread physically across computers in multiple locations that are connected by data communication links. Okay. Now, there is something known as a distributed database management system. To manage a distributed database, you require a distributed database management system. Okay. So what is the meaning of this distributed database management system? You see, this distributed database is like a virtual database. Okay. And in distributed database, like the software which is managing the distributed database and which is providing an access mechanism, okay, which makes this database transparent to the user, okay, is known as distributed database management system. I repeat the definition of distributed database management system. It is a software which manages the distributed database and provides an access mechanism that makes this distribution transparent to the user. Okay, so the term here is transparent to the user. So can somebody tell me what is transparency here? What is the transparency here?
Transparency means the open to all, sir.
Yeah, it is open to all, but how do we say it's transparent? Somebody else can answer. आप लोग this whatever we are studying, this is the last topic of your syllabus and it is going to come in your sessional. अगर आप ये डिस्कस करके पूछेंगे नहीं तो सेशनल में कैसे लिखेंगे बताइए? थोड़ा डिस्कस कीजिए, बताइए ट्रांसफर आप प्रिंस यू कैन स्पीक, नो नीड टू रेज हैंड्स, यू आर अनम्यूटेड.
So
Yeah.
privileges things.
No, not privilege.
I think
Okay.
in future.
Okay, I'll tell you. Listen, no, listen, I'll tell you. By the term transparent, we mean that the user will be aware of only one relational database schema. Okay? उसको एक डेटाबेस जो कंपनी का है वो दिख रहा है, उसको ये नहीं पता है कि जो डेटाबेस है वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है. प्लस फर्दर डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हम देखेंगे कि करते कैसे हैं. उसमें हम रेप्लिकेशन करते हैं, फ्रेगमेंटेशन करते हैं, रेप्लिकेशन एंड फ्रेगमेंटेशन करते हैं. तो ये सब चीजें यूजर को नजर नहीं आती है. यूजर नॉर्मल अपना ऑपरेशन जैसे पहले करता था वैसे ही करता है एंड उसको ये लगता है कि जो डेटाबेस है इट इज अ सिंगल डेटाबेस लोकेटेड एट अ सेंट्रल पॉइंट. उसको यही
आता
विजन
आवाज लावून
होता
काय
है.
केलं?
सो दैट इज द ट्रांसपेरेंसी.
आली? Yes, sir.
ऋषिकेश, इफ यू वांट टू स्पीक. Rishikesh, mute yourself.
Sir,
You were unmuted, just mute yourself. If you need to speak something, then unmute yourself.
sorry, sir.
Okay, so like we have started a discussion. First of all, what is a distributed database? That means a database which is distributed across various geographical locations. What is the need? We can manage the resources effectively. Okay, other advantages we'll see soon. Then what is a distributed database management system? Is a software which manages the distributed database and provides an access mechanism that makes this distribution transparent to the user. Okay, and now the main components of a distributed database management system. Okay, the main components. Okay, they are the transaction processor is there, the data processor is there, distributed processing is there. Okay, we talk when we talk of the components, we begin like this, that there is something, the main components, broad ones are the transaction processor, the data processor and the distributed processing. But when we go into a bit more of a detail, we'll feel that yes, in a distributed database management system, we should have computer workstations, that is the sites at which the computers are there. We should have the networking equipment, okay, both hardware as well as software. So we must have network hardware and software. And we must have communication media, okay. Communication media is required so that you can carry the data from one site to another. Okay, and the communication media must be independent of the distributed database management system. Okay, that means that your distributed database management system should be capable of handling different types of communication media. Okay, ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही compatibility वाले communication media यूज करेंगे, वो different communication media को भी handle करने की उसमें होनी चाहिए. और जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटाबेस मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम है वो ऐसा कुछ फिक्स नहीं करता कि इस तरह के सिस्टम में यही कम्युनिकेशन मीडिया लगेगा. ओके, एंड देन देयर इज समथिंग नोन एज अ ट्रांजैक्शन प्रोसेसर, ओके, which is a software component which receives and processes the applications data requests whether remote or local. ठीक है, सो आपको जब कोई ट्रांजैक्शन जो है उसको हैंडल करना है, देयर इज अ ट्रांजैक्शन प्रोसेसर. सिमिलरली अगर आपको डेटा स्टोर करना है और रिट्रीव करना है, ठीक है, तो वहां पर आपको डेटा प्रोसेसर की जरूरत है. ठीक है, उसको डेटा मैनेजर भी बोलते हैं. सो आई रिपीट वंस अगेन द कंपोनेंट्स ऑफ डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटाबेस मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम. The first component is computer workstation, which would mean the site at which the computer is located. Okay, computer workstation would mean a computer at a given site. And then we should have network hardware as well as software. Then communication media, whether it is compatible or not, distributed database management system has got nothing to do with it. We can use any communication media in our distributed database management system. It should be set up like that. And then a transaction processor, which helps in the transactions which are occurring over the database. And if the data needs to be stored and if the data needs to be managed, then we have a component known as data processor. It is also known as data manager. Okay. So any questions till this point? You can please ask. Okay, fine. चलिए, आपको समझ में आ गया. Let's now discuss advantages of distributed database management system. So let's see if you can list out any advantages.
So better performance.
That's good. Improved performance is there. True. You see why better performance? देखिए, एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं. सपोज कंपनी क्या करती है, कंपनी के ऑफिसेस दिल्ली, वॉशिंगटन, हांगकांग, सिंगापुर, अफ्रीका सब जगह पर है, राइट. वो दिल्ली में ही सर्वर रख देती है, डिस्ट्रीब्यूट नहीं करती है. तो अब जितना आपका सिस्टम दूर है, डिस्टेंस है ना, उतनी आपकी जो डेटा रिट्रीवल की कॉस्ट है वो बढ़ जाएगी. सो जब हम डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटाबेस करते हैं तो वो क्या करता है, इट विल bring the data closer to where it is needed most. Okay, your data would be, it is lying at multiple places, so it would be closer to the place where it is required, so the performance would improve. Similarly, availability would improve, reliability would be there, improved sharing is there, easier expansion is there. अगर कोई कंपनी एक नया ऑफिस खोल रही है किसी डिफरेंट लोकेशन में, तो वहां पर भी वो उसको डेटाबेस को डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करके रख सकती है. ठीक है. You see, अभी हमने we have not discussed what actually is distribution. Okay, we are coming to that point. Okay, that point would be when we reach replication and fragmentation. But we are having a broad idea कि एक distributed database management system हमें क्या advantages या क्या disadvantages दे सकता है. ठीक है. और ये more this is having a direct user interaction is there. ठीक है. सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट जो एडवांटेज में है, दैट इज लेस डेंजर ऑफ अ सिंगल पॉइंट ऑफ फेलियर. इसका मतलब क्या है कि अगर आपने एक सेंट्रलाइज सर्वर रखा हुआ है, yeah, there was a bit of pause. I'm back now. The best point is that if your system is not a distributed system but a centralized system, then if it fails, then the entire operations come to a standstill. This type of failure is known as a single point of failure, that your centralized server is a single point from which all the operations are taking place. So if that fails, then it is a single point of failure and all your operations of the company, they come to a standstill. So these are the advantages. Now let's discuss about the disadvantages of a distributed database management system. So can you people tell me a few disadvantages? I think disadvantages would be easier to pick.
Sir, reliability issues.
What sort of reliability?
Sir, database optimization is difficult, sir.
Sir, the data may
Okay.
be insecure.
Data may be insecure because it is at right. True. So insecurity would be there. That's true. And the other point also, which I think Abhijit you highlighted.
Yes, sir. Database
What was the
optimization
point?
is difficult.
Yes,
Or
because
network blocking, sir.
yeah, so we'll have problems in network operations. We can have problems there. We can have problems in updation of the database because it is lying at different places. And if the updates are not performed properly, then maybe we may have an inconsistent state of the database. Very true. Then cost is another advantage because you need to set up the equipment at each of the workstation, the network, the components, communication media. So cost is another one. The data design for such a database is always complex. Okay, and we could have lack of professional support. Like if we are in a metro in a big city, then maybe the technical people are available. But say, let's say one of the distributed site is in Africa, so we may have some lack of professional support there. Okay. Next is homogeneous and heterogeneous distributed database management system. So what would you say on that? बताइए, homogeneous का मतलब क्या है और heterogeneous का मतलब क्या है? I think the answer should be quick. What is homogeneous and what is heterogeneous?
होमोजीनियस की बात करते
Homogeneous
हैं
is
तो आइडेंटिकल होनी चाहिए सर।
उसमें जो सॉफ्टवेयर है और जो एप्लीकेशन है वो आइडेंटिकल होंगी। अगर हम उसमें ऑरेकल यूज कर रहे हैं तो सभी वर्क स्टेशन के ऊपर ऑरेकल ही यूज करेंगे। ठीक है, समथिंग लाइक दिस। ओके, दैट इज अ होमोजेनियस DDBMS व्हिच इज मोस्ट कॉमनली यूज्ड, है ना। जो हेट्रोजीनियस है, इट वुड मीन कि हमारे पास जो डिफरेंट नोड्स हैं, डिफरेंट साइट्स हैं, वो अपना डिफरेंट DBMS सॉफ्टवेयर रन कर सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जांपल, साइट 1 के ऊपर ऑरेकल चल रहा है, साइट 2 के ऊपर वी आर रनिंग DB2, साइट 3 के ऊपर मे बी वी आर रनिंग Sybase. So a heterogeneous distributed database management system is always difficult to implement, okay, because of the complexity involved. Okay, yeah, just okay. So heterogeneous is difficult to implement, so most of the times we have the homogeneous distributed database management system. Okay, let's now come to the distributed database management system design. Okay, इसको अब जरा हम ध्यान से देखते हैं, and I would be requiring your input here. Okay, now the PPT that I'm going to share, this needs to be followed properly. Okay, this is the official PPT now, and most of the things you will understand now very clearly. Okay, so we are going to discuss about how a distributed database management system is designed. Okay, let's see. Okay, I think you can see the screen, the PPT you can see. Yeah. So a distributed database system consists of loosely coupled sites that share no physical component. Obviously जब वो दूर दूर हैं तो उनकी physical components हर एक site के ऊपर अलग अलग अपने अपने होते हैं। ठीक है, and database systems that run on each site are independent of each other, and transactions may access data at one or more sites. The homogeneous distributed database. See, all sites have identical software. They are aware of each other and agree to cooperate in processing user requests. Each site surrenders part of its autonomy in terms of right to change schemas or software. Okay, and obviously it appears to user as a single system. The thing that we just discussed, the transparency part. Okay, and in a heterogeneous distributed database system, different sites may use different schemas and software. Okay, so difference in schema is a major problem for query processing. Okay, and difference in software is a major problem for transaction processing. So अगर heterogeneous DDBMS है, उसके अंदर अगर आपको transaction चलानी है तो different softwares like Oracle, DB2, SQL Server, they may give you problem while you are doing transaction processing. Okay. Now, how the data is distributed and how it is stored. Okay, for this we assume relational data model, and we do something known as replication, fragmentation, and replication and fragmentation. Okay, understand what is replication. You make multiple copies of data and you store it in different sites for faster retrieval and fault tolerance. You understand this point, all of you? Faster retrieval means because if the data is located near to your site, it will be with you, in a quicker way. And the fault tolerance means that if data is not available at one of the sites or one of the site fails, then you can always pick up data from a different site. Okay. Then fragmentation is that relation is partitioned into several fragments. The first thing, replication means कि पूरा का पूरा table जो है उसको हम copy कर देते हैं multiple sites पे. So we are having replicas of our tables, of our data. Okay. Fragmentation क्या है कि हम जो अपना relation है उसको partition कर देते हैं, उसके parts कर देते हैं, उसके fragments कर देते हैं और उन fragments को different sites पे भेज देते हैं. ये जो फ्रैगमेंट्स होते हैं ये दो तरह की फ्रैगमेंटेशन होती है. वन इज नोन एज अ हॉरिजॉन्टल फ्रैगमेंटेशन, वन इज नोन एज अ वर्टिकल फ्रैगमेंटेशन, and one is known as a hybrid fragmentation. We'll see the details soon. Okay, and then replication and fragmentation can be combined. Okay, combined का मतलब है कि रिलेशन को फ्रैगमेंट्स कर देते हैं और फ्रैगमेंट्स के भी रेप्लिकास करते हैं. So this is replication and fragmentation combined. Okay, now let's see data replication. A relation, listen clearly, a relation or a fragment of relation is replicated if it is stored redundantly on two or more sites. So अगर आप अपने एक रिलेशन की दो या उससे ज्यादा कॉपीज डिफरेंट साइट्स पे डाल देते हो, जैसे कि आपके पास 10 साइट्स हैं, तो आप 4 साइट्स के ऊपर जो है वो एक ही टेबल जो है उसको कॉपी कर देते हो. दिस इज नोन एज रेप्लिकेशन. फुल रेप्लिकेशन का मतलब क्या होता है कि वहां पर जो रिलेशन है, एक रिलेशन वो हर एक साइट के ऊपर अवेलेबल है. ओके, डू यू अंडरस्टैंड द डिफरेंस बिटवीन रेप्लिकेशन एंड फुल रेप्लिकेशन? रेप्लिकेशन मींस कि एक रिलेशन जो है वो दो या उससे ज्यादा साइट्स के ऊपर आपने कॉपी कर दिया. And full replication is that you have stored the relation on every site in your distributed database management system. And similarly, there is a term fully redundant databases. That means when your entire database, that is all the relations, are present on all the sites. Okay, now what are the advantages of replication? You have something known as availability. ओके, ऑब्वियसली अगर आपको एक साइड पे रिलेशन नहीं मिलता तो दूसरी भी मिल जाएगा, बिकॉज जो हमारा रिलेशन है इट इज हैविंग मेनी रेप्लिकास. देन अगर आप क्वेरीज को ही रन करते हैं तो वो जल्दी रन होती है. प्लस अगर आपको जो डेटा ट्रांसफर रेट है वो रिड्यूस हो जाता है कि अगर आपका जो रिलेशन आर है इट इज नियर दी साइट. ओके, डिसएडवांटेजेस देखिए, टू मेंटेन ऑल दिस, टू मेंटेन दी अपडेट्स, यू हैव इंक्रीज कॉस्ट, इंक्रीज कम्प्लेक्सिटी इज देयर. ओके, so cost is the major one and update is also there. Update में बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है कि if your relation is lying at multiple places, वहां पर कुछ पर अपडेट हो जाए कुछ पर रह जाए तो इनकंसिस्टेंसी हो जाती है. So these are the disadvantages of replication. Then there is known as something known as data fragmentation. So horizontal fragmentation is there and vertical fragmentation is there. Horizontal fragmentation तो easy है because what we do in it, we make the fragments on the basis of some condition. That is, we use the sigma operator here. We specify some condition, based on that the fragments are created. And vertical fragmentation is where we take the help of pi, okay, the projection operator, and we have we split on the basis of columns. So obviously we must have a common column here on the basis of which the fragments can be related. Okay, and there is a special attribute known as the tuple id attribute which may be added to each schema to serve as a candidate key. Okay, देखते हैं इसको, समझिए इसको. एग्जाम्पल देखिए, आपका एक रिलेशन है. ओके, रिलेशन का नाम है अकाउंट. अकाउंट रिलेशन में देयर आर 3 कॉलम्स, ब्रांच नेम, अकाउंट नंबर एंड बैलेंस. ओके, सो उसमें टोटल देखिए 7 रोज हैं. कैन यू सी, 3 ऑन द अपर साइड, 4 ऑन द लोअर साइड. तो हमने उनका हॉरिजॉन्टल फ्रैगमेंटेशन कर दिया है. देखिए कैसे किया. सिग्मा ब्रांच नेम इज इक्वल टू हिल साइड. ओके, और दूसरा वाला है सिग्मा ब्रांच नेम इज इक्वल टू वैली व्यू. ठीक है, सो बेस्ड ऑन सम कंडीशन द फ्रैगमेंट इज देयर. दिस टाइप ऑफ फ्रैगमेंटेशन इज नोन एज हॉरिजॉन्टल फ्रैगमेंटेशन. ओके, और इन फ्रैगमेंट्स को हम डिफरेंट साइट्स के ऊपर प्लेस कर देते हैं और इनके रेप्लिकास भी बना देते हैं ताकि अवेलेबिलिटी और स्पीड बढ़ जाए. ठीक है, okay, so this is the example of horizontal fragmentation. So when you fragment your relation horizontally, then we have two horizontal fragments. First is account 1, second is account 2. You can see the conditions that we have put to make the fragments. Okay, similarly vertical fragmentation would be, this is important, this would be when you are making uh, the fragments on the basis of columns. That is, you take 2 columns of the table in one fragment, 2 columns in another fragment. Okay, so to correlate them, you know, you should have something, either you should have a primary key or a foreign key sort of thing, but then luckily there is something known as a tuple id. So as you can see, the tuple id is 1 to 7 for this, so the linkage is there. Both the fragments, both the vertical fragments should have a common column known as tuple id. Okay, so advantages, you know, understand of fragmentation. You can just have a read. Okay, the horizontal and the vertical fragmentations independently also and mixed also, they give us good advantages. Okay. Now data transparency is there. This is very important now. For this we need to discuss a few things like what actually is transparency. Okay. So let's discuss this transparency. Okay. Now what is, first of all, uh, you see, ideally, the first thing is degree to which the system user may remain unaware of the details of how and where the data items are stored in a distributed system. That means to the user, it appears that he is working normally. There is some centralized database to which he is connected and he is using. He is not, bothered, or he is not concerned about the complexity involved in designing the distributed database management system. So when we talk of transparency, okay, we say that the distribution, that is fragmentation and replication of data across multiple sites, is not visible to the users, and this concept is known as data transparency. Okay, so and it appears to the user that he is using a centralized database management system. Now, many types of transparencies are there. We'll first discuss the distribution transparency. Okay, we'll first discuss the distribution transparency. So in distribution transparency, it allows us to manage a physically dispersed database as though it were a centralized database. Okay, हमें क्या लगता है कि वो एक ही database है जो हम use कर रहे हैं, एक location पे पड़ा हुआ है. Actually, it is a distributed database. So this is the distribution transparency. Now, distribution transparency is further categorized into the following categories. So let's just go to the our PPT which we had opened earlier. Yeah. So you can see with this. So we're discussing here distribution transparency is further divided into fragmentation, location, naming, and replication. These are the various types of distribution transparency. So if we talk of fragmentation transparency, okay, it would mean that the user has got no knowledge of the fragments of the table. He is not aware that there are vertical and horizontal fragments. So this is known as fragmentation transparency. Then the next one is the location transparency. Okay, so he is not bothered about the location at which the fragments are located, or even he's not aware of the fragments also. He thinks that there is only a centralized this thing database from which information is being generated, is being given. Okay, then naming transparency, this is important. Okay, now let's see. Naming transparency implies, maybe you can write this down because for there might be some questions on it in your sessionals, because this is something fundamental in the actual design. So naming transparency implies that once a name is specified, okay, the named objects can be accessed without any additional specification. Okay, so like the names of the data items, okay, so they should be unique. Okay, so for this we use something known as a name server. We use a name server because if at one side we have used some nomenclature for a data item, at another side somebody else should not use a different name for it. So all the entries of the names, they are put in a name server which manages all of these names, so that we get unique names for our data items. Okay, now what is the problem? What can you tell me, what is the problem with the name server? What I'm suggesting is naming transparency means that all the data items in our distributed database system should have unique names. For this, we make something known as, we create something which is known as a name server. So is this name server going to give us some problem? That's what I'm asking to you. This I'm waiting for your response. कोई आपको लगता नहीं कि नेम सर्वर से कुछ प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है?
सर अगर डिफरेंट नंबर्स ऑफ है तो सबको नेम देना फिर डिफरेंट कैसे बहुत ज्यादा.
It's not, your voice is not clear, Abhijit. Come again.
सर अगर मल्टीपल्स नेम अगर रिटर्न करने होंगे, मेंशन करना, तो वहां पे वो प्रॉब्लम दे सकता है.
नहीं मल्टीपल नेम नहीं, सबके यूनिक नेम्स ही है।
Yes, sir.
ये तो बड़ा इजी क्वेश्चन है फॉर ऑल ऑफ यू। आई डोंट नो आप लोग कैसे इसको क्वेश्चन को समझ रहे हैं। नेम सर्वर है तो सीधा पहली चीज यही आती है कि अगर नेम सर्वर ही डाउन हो जाए, नेम सर्वर मीन्स एक मशीन है जिसके ऊपर जितना भी नॉमेनक्लेचर है वो सारे स्टोर करके रखे हुए हैं। जब भी किसी डेटा आइटम के बारे में देखना होता है तो उस नेम सर्वर को कंसल्ट कर लेते हैं। इफ दैट नेम सर्वर इज डाउन यू वोंट बी एबल टू एक्सेस द डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम। दैट इज द फर्स्ट इजी पॉइंट। एंड सेकेंडली, अगर आपका जो
Yes.
सेंट्रल नेम सर्वर है उस पर बहुत सारी रिक्वेस्ट आ रही हैं, आपको मालूम ही है, आप जब पीटीयू की जब रिक्वेस्ट देते हैं रिजल्ट के लिए, जब इकट्ठे बहुत सारे लोग दे देते हैं तो वो जैम हो जाता है, रुक जाता है, चोक हो जाता है। सिमिलरली जो आपका नेम सर्वर है इट कैन ऑल्सो बिकम अ बॉटलनेक if there are too many requests simultaneously. Okay, so to overcome this problem we have an approach in which each site, data items can have similar names but prefixed by the site names. Okay, for example, a data item say M at site 12 could be named as site12.m. The same data item M at site 13, okay, would be site13.m and so on. Okay, so that is the idea, to prefix the site name before the data item. Okay, fine. So some more things are left. ट्रांसपेरेंसी के बाद हमें कुछ और भी चीजें पढ़नी है. Let's discuss that. Okay, I'll just take another 10-15 minutes and if required another class today sometime, right? So this is what we discussed about how to name the data items. Then the name server is there. Okay, okay. So it is a potential performance bottleneck and it is a single point of failure. You understand, अगर आपका नेम सर्वर ही बंद हो जाएगा तो आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड सिस्टम को यूज नहीं कर पाएंगे, और अगर बहुत ज्यादा रिक्वेस्ट नेम सर्वर के पास आएंगी तो वो उसकी जो स्पीड है वो कम हो सकती है, या वो हैंग हो सकता है, या काम करना बंद कर सकता है. ठीक है, सो उसका व्हाट इज द सॉल्यूशन? वी कैन यूज एलियासेस. वी कैन प्रीफिक्स द साइट नेम बिफोर द डेटा आइटम नेम. ओके, अब इसमें आगे देखें थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल काम जो आप पढ़ चुके हैं. डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड ट्रांजैक्शंस, दैट इज हाउ ट्रांजैक्शंस वर्क इन अ DDBMS. Okay, how transactions work in a DDBMS. Okay, so हर एक साइट के ऊपर there is a transaction manager and a transaction coordinator. Okay, at every site transactions को access करने के लिए, data को access करने के लिए हर एक साइट के ऊपर there is somebody known as a transaction manager, some mechanism. Okay, जो कि लॉग वगैरह जैसे हमने भी स्टडी किया लॉग मेंटेन करता है. ठीक है, और एक ट्रांजैक्शन कोऑर्डिनेटर होता है. ओके, जो कि देखता है कि जो ट्रांजैक्शन है वो पूरी कंप्लीट हुई कि नहीं, या उसको अबॉर्ट करना पड़ेगा, या रोल बैक करना पड़ेगा, या सक्सेसफुली कमिट हो गई कि नहीं, लाइक दिस. ओके, सो दिस इज हाउ इट वर्क्स, द ट्रांजैक्शन कोऑर्डिनेटर एंड द ट्रांजैक्शन मैनेजर. ओके, सो फेलियर किस तरह का हो सकता है आपको बताइए. कोई साइट ही फेल हो जाएगी तो हमारी ट्रांजैक्शन रुक जाएगी. If there is some loss of message, some message has been sent from one side to another, but due to some network transmission problems, messages can be lost, और कोई communication link fail हो सकते हैं. ठीक है, इस तरह से आपके सिस्टम जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटाबेसेस में they can get in a failure mode. ठीक है, अब इसको पढ़ लीजिए. हम जो इम्पोर्टेंट है कि किस तरह से ट्रांजेक्शन जो हैं दे कमिट. सो आइदर दे कैन यूज अ टू फेज कमिट, वो हम पढ़ चुके हैं, टू फेज लॉकिंग पढ़ चुके हैं ना. सो टू फेज कमिट हो सकता है. दिस टू फेज कमिट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम टू फेज लॉकिंग. ओके, डोंट कोरिलेटेड विद दैट. So two phase commit can be there and three phase commit can be there. Okay, but three phase commit is more complicated and most of the times we are using the two phase commit to commit our transactions. I repeat, जो commit protocols हैं जो कि ensure करती हैं कि हमारी जो ट्रांजेक्शन है वो पूरी चले डिफरेंट साइट्स के ऊपर, और तभी हमारा डेटा अपडेट हो जबकि ट्रांजेक्शन में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं आई किसी भी साइट के ऊपर. ठीक है, उसके लिए हम दो तरह की प्रोटोकॉल्स अवेलेबल हैं. टू फेज कमिट प्रोटोकॉल इज देयर विच इज वेरी वाइडली यूज्ड, एंड थ्री फेज कमिट प्रोटोकॉल इज देयर. ओके, क्योंकि थ्री फेज क्या करती है कि टू फेज में भी कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स अगर हैं तो वो थ्री फेज में उसको ओवरकम कर लेते हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, बहुत एक्सपेंसिव है. So this protocol is not used in practice. That means we will be using two phase commit protocol to commit our transactions across different sites. ओके सो अब इसको अंडरस्टैंड करने के लिए आप लास्ट बुलेट पढ़ लीजिए, ठीक है, जस्ट रीड द लास्ट बुलेट. Let T be a transaction initiated at the site SI, okay, and let the transaction coordinator at SI be CI. Just read this, you can write it down also. हमारी ट्रांजैक्शन T है जिसको कि साइट SI पे हमने शुरू किया है, इनिशिएट किया है, ठीक है, और उसका जो साइट कोऑर्डिनेटर है वो CI है, ठीक है. इफ दिस थिंग इज क्लियर, बिकॉज अगले 5-10 मिनट आपको इसी अप्रोच को लेकर चलना पड़ेगा. इफ यू हैव अंडरस्टूड, इसको लिख लीजिए कि एक ट्रांजैक्शन T एक साइट SI के ऊपर इनिशिएट होती है और उसका ट्रांजैक्शन कोऑर्डिनेटर CI है, ठीक है. तो कोऑर्डिनेटर क्या करता है? इट विल आस्क ऑल पार्टिसिपेंट्स टू प्रिपेयर टू कमिट ट्रांजैक्शन TI, ठीक है. सो प्रिपेयर करने का मतलब क्या होता है कि ये जो ट्रांजैक्शन है ये जिस जिस साइट के ऊपर इसका डेटा है या चल रही है, तो सभी को एक प्रिपेयर T रिकॉर्ड करना है, ठीक है, एक रिकॉर्ड बनाना है जिसका नाम है प्रिपेयर T. सो वो क्या करता है, अपना CI जो है वो प्रिपेयर T मैसेजेस सभी साइट्स को भेज देता है जहां पर T एग्जीक्यूट हो रही है, ठीक है. सो अपॉन रिसीविंग द मैसेज, the transaction manager at each site determines whether he can commit the transaction or not. अगर वो ट्रांजैक्शन को कमिट नहीं कर सकता तो वो नो टी करके लॉग एक मैसेज बना देता है और अबॉर्ट टी मैसेज CI को भेज देता है कि मेरे पास यहाँ प्रॉब्लम है, मैं ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं चला सकता हूँ, देयर इज सम प्रॉब्लम एट माय साइट. सो अगर नो टी है इसका मतलब है कि ट्रांजैक्शन जो है वो चल नहीं सकती, ठीक है. अगर ट्रांजैक्शन कमिट हो सकती है तो रिकॉर्ड का नाम होता है रेडी टी. ओके, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड वंस अगेन. कोऑर्डिनेटर जो है, जो CI कोऑर्डिनेटर जहां से हमारी ट्रांजैक्शन जिस साइट से इनिशिएट होती है, वो कोऑर्डिनेटर एक प्रिपेयर T रिकॉर्ड बनाता है, सिस्टम लॉग में उसको डालता है और उसको सभी को भेज देता है कि आप देखो अपनी ट्रांजैक्शन जो है उसकी तैयारी करो, और अगर आप ट्रांजैक्शन को कमिट नहीं कर सकते हो तो एक रिकॉर्ड नो टी मुझे सेंड करो, ठीक है. और अबॉर्ट टी, नो टी का मतलब है कि हम ट्रांजैक्शन को नहीं चला सकते और उसको अबॉर्ट करना है, ठीक है. अगर ट्रांजैक्शन कमिट हो सकती है देन ऑल दी साइट्स दे सेंड अ रिकॉर्ड रेडी टी, वो उसमें ऐड कर देते हैं अपने सिस्टम लॉग में, ठीक है. और रेडी टी मैसेज किसको भेज देते हैं? जो कोऑर्डिनेटर है CI को. अगर इतनी बात क्लियर है तो रेज योर हैंड्स. once we discuss it for the first time, it will always look a bit difficult. लेकिन जब इसको दोबारा पढ़ेंगे रिकवरी और इस टॉपिक को मिला के, तो डेफिनेटली यू विल अंडरस्टैंड कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. ओके, आगे देखते हैं. अब जब टी जो हमारी ट्रांजैक्शन है वो कब कमिट होती है? अगर जो हमारा कोऑर्डिनेटर CI है उसको रेडी टी मैसेज सभी साइट से मिलेगा, ठीक है ना. अगर उसको सभी साइट से रेडी टी मैसेज नहीं मिलेगा, रेडी टी का मतलब है कि हम कमिट करने के लिए रेडी हैं, ठीक है. अगर उसको सभी साइट से नहीं मिलेगा तो ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं चल सकती, बिकॉज आपको मालूम है एटॉमिसिटी जो है वो वायलेट हो जाएगी. ट्रांजैक्शन या तो पूरी चलनी चाहिए या बिल्कुल नहीं चलनी चाहिए, ओके. उसके बाद जब रेडी टी हो गया है तो फिर उसके बाद भी प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है. आपको मालूम है अगर एक ट्रांजैक्शन कमिट करने के लिए रेडी है तब भी उसको अबॉर्ट करना पड़ सकता है. सो कोऑर्डिनेटर जो है वो अब पूछता है, just a second, जो कोऑर्डिनेटर है, now it will ask for a decision record whether commit T or abort T. okay, now अगर आपका commit T जो है वो चला गया है तो आपका डेटा परमानेंटली स्टोर हो जाएगा, ट्रांजैक्शन सक्सेसफुली हो जाएगा, ठीक है. सो coordinator sends a message to each participant informing if of the decision whether to commit or abort, and participants take appropriate actions locally. तो वो अपना वो देखते हैं सिस्टम, अगर वो कमिट कर सकते हैं तो कमिट भेज देते हैं मैसेज, अगर अबॉर्ट करनी है ट्रांजैक्शन तो अबॉर्ट कर देते हैं. अगर सभी कमिट करेंगे तभी ट्रांजैक्शन कमिट होगी, ठीक है. ओके, सो व्हेन साइट SI रिकवर्स, ठीक है, अगर आपका सपोज फेलियर हो गया, ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं चली, ठीक है. अब देखिए क्या होता है उससे. अगर ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं चली है तो हमें लॉग्स जो है वो डिटरमिन करने पड़ेंगे. अगर लॉग में कमिट T है इसका मतलब क्या है? ट्रांजैक्शन हैज कंप्लीटेड, कुछ भी नहीं करना है, ठीक है. इसको ध्यान से सुनिए, हम लोग क्या रिकवरी की बात कर रहे हैं. रिकवरी में हमेशा हमें क्या करना होता है कि सिस्टम लॉग देखना होता है. अगर हम लॉग देखते हैं और उसमें कमिट T रिकॉर्ड है, दैट मींस ट्रांजैक्शन इज कंप्लीट, नो प्रॉब्लम. अगर उसमें अबॉर्ट T है इसका मतलब है कि ट्रांजैक्शन कंप्लीट हो गई है, उसको अबॉर्ट कर दिया गया, ठीक है. अगर उसमें रेडी T है तो उसको कंसल्ट करना है CI को कि क्या हुआ उसका, ठीक है. अगर T कमिट हो गई है तो रीडू और कमिट, अगर अबॉर्ट हो गई है तो अनडू. ठीक है. So these are the terms which you must understand. ठीक है, आप इसको एक बार ही रीड कर लीजिए. ओके, हाँ इतना, this much is enough for you. I'll send this PPT and the other PPT to you. ओके, आप इसको पढ़िए. ओके, और एक क्लास फिर हम लगाएंगे जिसमें कि इन्हीं दो टॉपिक्स को एक बार फिर रिव्यू करेंगे. मे बी वो क्लास में आज लूँ या कल, बट आई विल बी टेकिंग वन रिव्यू क्लास फॉर दीज टू टॉपिक्स. ठीक है. So if you have any questions, you can ask now. You are unmuted. You can ask if there is anything to suggest. Abhijit, Tushar, anything that you need to ask? Sejal, Shivam Gupta, are you there?